Hello everyone and welcome to week 2. You might be wondering why I currently have module 1 open. The reason why is if you need to get the original template that we're using for this week's assignment, you can find it under week 1 where the link says templates. So let me go back to week 2. And for week 2, this should be a fun week. We're going to continue to build on our mobile interface. This week we're going to look at the background for our home page for, like the first page you see on your phone, as well as create some icons that you would see on your home page, as well as system icons. Make sure, of course, that you read the chapter 2. You do the discussions, you review the lecture. Both will help you as you work on this week's assignments. So you'll see that there's, a little bit of information about what you should do. And what you want to do is you want to, of course, make sure you have the original file open, which you can see right here. And again, I'm using Android. You can also use the iPhone template if you prefer that. And the first thing I want to do, of course, is create a new layer. So I can just go ahead and open up the layers. And let me move this so we can actually see the layers. And I can just lock this layer and I can create a new layer. And it's up to you if you want to do, for example, the home page. You really kind of don't want to flip it because, horizontally your icons in the home page background really don't change. This is going to be more for content displaying. So for right now, you're mainly going to be using the phone on the left-hand side. And it'll be up to you in terms of what the home page looks like, the screen. It can be a background that's static. You can look at your phone for inspiration. You can look online and see how other people have, designed their phones. Here's a grid. Here's more of like a good old Mac design, which you'd see more like on an iPhone. This is a solid background. Things to note: it's important that you come up with the design yourself, and it has to be done directly in Illustrator. It can't be a bitmap that you find online or a bitmap you create within Photoshop. It's really kind of keeping you inside of Illustrator for this assignment. So this isn't going to be the best example. If I just wanted to do a black background, which I would recommend you do something more than just a solid background, but if you prefer that, that's fine. And again, I'm not putting in the necessary time, but so that could be my background. Now, obviously, there's a rubric attached to it, so this probably isn't going to get scored really well. So I'd probably want to incorporate a couple of other elements. You might even want to look up a tutorial online for mobile homepage screen tutorials, just to see, what other people have come up with style-wise. So that's going to be the first thing you'll see right here. Step 3 is where we currently were. Then what we're going to do is create at least 8 different app icons. So again, we're going back to creating icons, and we're going to be spending a lot of time doing that because mobile devices, of course, are based on icons. So these are going to be 8 different icons, and they're up to you in terms of what you decide to create. They could be, let's see if you can see anything. Here's Chrome, Analytics, Drive, WordPress. Oftentimes what people will do is kind of recreate like the Twitter icon, and that's fine. I'm perfectly fine if you're taking something that's already there, but you have to create it yourself. You'll see, for example, on the iPhone, there are a lot of icons. I'm hoping this will load to be a little bit better. It might not, but there's like a clock, there's reminders, there's notes, there's iTunes, here's the camera, the phone. Actually, the camera is more of a system icon, and you'll see that for step 5 actually, sorry, add 4 additional common systems icons. So you'll see, examples are phone, contacts, messaging, camera, the default system email, system apps, etc. System apps would be like the setting icon. And you'll see, depending on what phone you look at, they change. Like this one right here is just going to be the phone, and of course the grid is the systems, and then the messages. And here they've made, here's the camera, here's messaging, there's a phone, here's the system, and they even made Chrome one of the system icons. Here we have applications, messaging, contacts, phone. This is really your chance between creating these icons for both the system and the 8 icons for the home page to really kind of play with the design and come up with ideally unique icons. Of course, you can be inspired by ones that are currently out there, and there's only, of course, so many ways to recreate, like messaging and a phone and a text. These are really clear and nice. So definitely make sure you read this week's chapter, spend some time online looking at different icons. I'll put up a tutorial later on in the week about mobile icon development, just so that you're able to see different tutorials in terms of how this can be done. Ideally, you won't just find a set of icons and copy it 100%. That's kind of taking out the creativity part on your end. Think of this as your clients, whether it's Apple or Android, is saying, I want you to design the next interface. And, especially with the iPhone, it's constantly changing based off different trends. We used to have gradients and bevels, and now we've gone completely flat design. So what's going to be for 2016 the newest design? That's what you should really look at. Maybe it'll be super squarey like this, or maybe we're going to add a little bit more curvature back to the edges of the icon. Is it going to be flat still, or are we going to start bringing in some of the other effects that used to exist, or maybe new ones? Or maybe, we're no longer going to be around. They could be standalone icons that are just based off of a certain design. It's really going to be up to you. Please make sure that you submit both the Illustrator file and the JPEG, and submit them to the Dropbox. You'll see on the course homepage there will be a rubric as well as instructions. And at the bottom of this page, you'll see right here, View Grading Rubric. This will help you see how the points will be earned this week. And again, make sure those icons you create yourself. Don't import vector icons, please. Really put in the time to create your own icons. They can't be bitmaps. They have to be done, again, fully in Illustrator. Make sure you also take the quiz this week and you participate in the discussions, which are going to be talking about different patterns for displaying information as well, which should help you see the different sorts of patterns that exist across different brands of mobile devices. For example, Windows has a very unique look, which follows their Windows 8 operating system for both desktops and the Surface, and then Apple kind of follows a similar version for their own, within the Apple environment and the flat design. If you haven't have any questions as you progress this week, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. Have a great week, and I'll see everyone next week. Take care. Bye.